Kick back and eyes front, because The View is live. Beat the press. The Republican candidate caught on tape allegedly body slamming a reporter. Is the war on the media out of control? Holy memes. How the internet is having a field day with the first family's visit to the Vatican. Then, he served under presidents who faced Watergate, the Cold War, and 9/11. And Donald Rumsfeld's given his political view of what President Trump's facing right now. Plus, we're saluting Memorial Day early by reuniting an Air Force hero with the crew he almost made the ultimate sacrifice with. And he has no idea we're doing it. Hot Topics are in the house with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for labor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this neighborhood, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor.
Hello, and welcome to The View, y'all. Welcome to The View, welcome to The View, welcome to The View. Y'all are looking really good in those uniforms. I'm just saying. I love Fleet Week. Yeah. That was the theme to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in the wake of the Manchester bombing. A quote has reemerged of Mr. Rogers telling people to look for the helpers when tragedy strikes, to highlight the good in the world. And an Entertainment Weekly reporter also tweeted about his chance encounter with Mr. Rogers and how his words helped him through a tough time. And it's all over the internet right now. So if you got some time, not while you're watching the show, but at some time today, go check out those words. But the question becomes, have we forgotten how powerful a kind word can be?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I remember being in my mid-20s, and I was in $60,000 worth of debt. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was waiting tables. I was working for a company where I was dressed next to a guy dressed in a banana costume. I was like, what am I doing? Is this what I'm...
Those were the days.
Those were the days. And I came across a waiter who was trying to be an actor. And
How shocking.
Yeah, but he was so motivated and so amazing. And he said to me, you know what? Sometimes it's okay for life to be a little messy. And I held on to that, and I don't know what it was about what he said, but it gave me momentum to move ahead and kind of get through those. And now I'm grateful for those years. I'm grateful for the struggle, because I feel like you learn a little bit about yourself in those years when you're trying to make something happen.
And it's the, sort of that random act of kindness that can change anyone's world. I often say, even on this show, that we have this crisis of credibility and civility. We're losing that. And when I read that the exchange that the Entertainment Weekly reporter wrote, I mean, I cried, just because there is this crisis that we're suffering from, and I don't know when it goes away.
It's a reminder to slow down, too, because I think the kindness in the story is a moment where you could see someone needed him. As you read the story, you'll understand, but he just stops and says, do you need to talk? And I think about how many times there were helpers, just everyday people in my life that stopped for one moment and said, are you okay? And it helps.
And sometimes it comes in comedy, too. Like, I know sometimes Joy or Whoopi will be hanging around, and I'll be having a bad day, and they say something really funny, and it just lifts me up. So it's just a testament to no matter what's going on in the world, like, we have the power to really have that effect on each other. So don't forget that, no matter how bad the news is or how
Comedy
scary
is
it
the
is.
greatest defense in the
It's
world.
true. It really is.
It's the main thing
It changes
people
my
should
life
get in
every
touch
day
with.
working with you guys.
Start laughing, make fun of everything,
And make fun of yourself. Make fun of yourself.
And you are particularly... I was going to say that I think, Whoopi, you are particularly good at that. I mean, we all have at some point or another gone into your dressing room, and I know you've lifted me up so many times.
And she's not that light.
So many times.
See what I'm saying?
You are particularly good at that, at the kindness.
You know, we need Mr. Rogers more than ever, because it is getting very nasty out there. The Republican candidate for Montana's congressional seat, Greg Gianforte, was caught on audio tape allegedly attacking a reporter from The Guardian. Take a listen.
To the CBO score, because you know you were waiting to make your decision about health care until you saw the bill and it just came out.
And
Well, we'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah, but there's not going to be time. I'm just curious if you
Okay,
have
speak
right
with
now.
Shane, please.
Sick and tired of you guys. The last time I came in here, you did the same thing. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. The last guy did the same thing. You were the Guardian.
Yes, and you just broke my glasses.
You, the last guy did the same damn thing.
You just body slammed me and broke my glasses.
So a crew from Fox News backs up the reporter's claim that he was body slammed. And, you know, this gentleman faces assault charges. But it's not just the politicians. People are brawling on planes. Teachers are fighting each other in school. Why is everyone on such edge? What is happening?
Well, the country, as she just pointed out, the country is in trouble. Yeah. We're being led by a child, basically. Someone who causes trouble. Everywhere he goes, he causes trouble. And he says things that are inflammatory wherever he goes. I think we have a tape of him, the way he attacked the press over the past year or so. Let's see the tape.
Cases, the very, very dishonest press doesn't want to report it.
Especially the political press. They're the most dishonest people.
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you stay categorical?
You are fake news.
You see, so I mean, he has thrown the ball into the court, and basically what he's doing is he's giving permission for people to act. He's doing, and this guy in particular, just one point, he went. This guy, I can't stand him because he went prairie dog hunting with one of the Trump kids, Hans or Fritz, one of those two.
This Congress?
Gianforte went hunting for prairie dogs for sport. I was reading about it. It's like, this for fun. They're killing these little animals who basically, I was reading, are very intelligent and communicate with each other. Now, what kind of a moron acts like that?
But do you think it's fair to blame President Trump for this this attack?
I'm not blaming him directly. You can't say you caused this A to B, but look at what you just saw. And that's just a very small sample of the way he attacks the press.
Hold on. Oh, sure. We're going to keep talking about this when we get back. Remember where we were. We'll be right back.
Next week on The View is huge. Trust us. Oh my gosh. First, our political view is red hot with Senator Al Franken. Even Chelsea Clinton stopping by. Wow. Then the biggest stars are hitting the table. We've got Grammy winner Chance the Rapper, Tony nominee Ben Platt, and the fabulous Vanessa Williams. Woohoo! Plus, Star Jones is back in the house. Whoa! It's all next week on The View on ABC. Still ahead, he served presidents through historic moments from Watergate to the Iraq War. And Donald Rumsfeld's given his political view of the biggest challenges facing President Trump. Plus, a surprise reunion between veterans who went through hell and back that you'll cheer through tears.
Conversation continues.
Yeah, we were talking about the potential role that Donald Trump and his criticism of the media. And is it fair? And it's interesting because Shane Scanlon, who's a spokesman for this guy who assaulted this reporter, said, quote, "It's unfortunate that this aggressive behavior from a liberal journalist created this seat at our campaign volunteer barbecue." I heard that and I said, why are you bringing politics into this? What does that sound like? That sounded like Trump, because somehow the fact that this was a liberal journalist, he kept saying he's from The Guardian. That bothered me. This is not about politics. This is about assault.
That is the point. It's because of The Guardian that this Gianforte went berserk on him. Because The Guardian has recently accused him of having business ties to Russian companies that are under sanction. Everybody's involved with Russia. Yeah. So The Guardian has been after this guy. So this one was, he panicked and he turned on him immediately. He was threatened by him. That's what happened.
It's also a talking point that he came out with that Trump has echoed many times, which is that when you do something wrong, you blame the liberal media. This guy did nothing wrong, but do his job as a reporter.
How many votes in? Did the votes go in before this happened?
Yes, that's the thing. 50% of voting has already...
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 votes have already been cast because of early voting.
So he's going to win anyway.
The question is, nobody want to know this? If this is your idea of conflict resolution?
You can change your vote now. That's the question. Will he be elected nonetheless, right? But what's interesting is I was looking up, you know, you would think he's been charged with misdemeanor assault. So you would think, well, somebody that's been convicted of assault can't run, can't be a
convicted
congressperson.
yet. He has not been convicted, right.
But yes, the Constitution allows that.
Because
so
in
even
early
after
days,
15
they used to beat each
served.
other up all the time. They would just smack the poop out of everybody. But, you know, the interesting thing that might also have put this out there is there was first a very big divide between him, he was the assumed winner.
Yes.
And then the gentleman who he's running against has closed the gap.
Yeah.
And it is now a very, very tight.
Yeah. People
and
in Montana have to come out.
But folks are, you know.
Trump won by 20% more in that area.
Yeah, but you know what?
It's Trump land.
But it may be Trump land, but, you know, people have been watching what's been going on, and we don't know how people feel. So I would not ever write off or say that this is a done deal, because we never know.
I will say, as a journalist, I feel that the media is under attack, constantly under attack.
Yeah.
We are on the front lines, and it is a very uncomfortable place to be, but it's such an important place to be because it's of the First Amendment. We have to report these
Why
things.
would you run for public office, though, if you don't... sorry to cut you off, Sonny. Why would you run for public office if you can't take a tough question?
Well, because we've seen that... We've seen that people who can't take tough questions seem to be able to, things peel off of them. But I think people are getting tired of seeing that, because regardless of what you thought of Obama, he could take a tough question.
One more thing about this guy. This guy made millions and millions of dollars before he was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Then he got bored. This is because he has to have something to do. That's what this is about.
Well, I have a must-do, to be fair. Gianforte's spokesman said, after asking Jacobs to lower the recorder, that's the reporter, Jacobs declined. Greg then attempted to grab the phone that was pushed in his face. Jacobs grabbed Greg's wrist and spun away from Greg, pushing them both to the ground. It's unfortunate that this aggressive behavior from a liberal journalist created this scene at our campaign volunteer BBQ. I have to say, though, that the Fox News reporters that were there say that did not happen.
No one has corroborated that story.
Has corroborated this story except this guy. And you know what? Just because you call somebody liberal media does not mean you can put your hands on them.
That's right.
Sorry. Yeah. We'll be right back.
In 2006, one of Hollywood's most wanted men, Matthew McConaughey, proved he had the skills to make Joy feel all right, all right, all right.
Joy has no shame. She thinks her feet are beautiful.
She doesn't really
She's feeling like a foot rub. Oh, baby.
Just start rubbing and all that. And every sister-in-law is standing around and fell off my father. My father used to do this.
It's very
It's very nice.
The View Sparkling Moments are brought to you by Sparkling Ice. Fizzy, flavorful sparkling waters available in over 20 flavors. All the taste, but none of the calories.
During the most scandalous and troubling times in modern history, like Watergate, the Cold War, 9/11, the Iraq War. So here to give his view of our current life, please welcome Donald Rumsfeld. Hey!
I'm retired.
I know, but you know, as long as you have a thought in your head, people want to hear it. Now, is this administration, have you ever seen anything as sort of, not problematic, but where you just are not sure what is actually going on? Is this sort of unique?
Is that a non-denial denial?
Where did you find her?
I don't know.
It's different.
Yeah.
You may have noticed.
Yeah, you could go for it, Donnie. Come on.
You're retired.
You're retired. You have nothing to lose. Tell us the truth.
This individual, the President of the United States, I've never met, but I watched him in the campaign.
Yeah.
And he ran against a whole bunch of Republicans who were governors and senators and congressmen, and it was a good group.
Russians? Yeah, no, kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
And he won. And then he ran against the Democrat,
Yeah.
a seasoned individual, well-known, Hillary Clinton, and he won.
Well, he lost by 3 million votes in the popular vote. He won the electoral vote, yes, and that's the rule of the country.
What
But-
counts?
Well, the electoral vote counts.
I thought so.
Yeah. But, I still like to point that out because it annoys him. Now, you worked in you were on the Watergate trail. You worked for Nixon, right? Remember that?
I was in Nixon's cabinet. I did not go to jail.
No. One of the few who did not go to jail.
I was actually in Belgium as U.S. ambassador to NATO when that was going on. And someone said, who's the smartest man in Washington? Answer, Don Rumsfeld. But he's not in Washington. That's right. I knew nothing about it, and I was sent over as ambassador to NATO, and all of that went on, and it was a terrible tragedy for our country, and the first time in our history when a president had to resign.
Well,
And let's hope it never happens again.
I don't know that that was a tragedy. I mean, he needed to resign. He was a crook.
Do you have strong views on this?
I do. And, I see some similarities right now going on. I mean, there was a break-in in the Watergate complex. In this case, there was a Russian break-in on the internet. Similar, no? There are other things I have here. There were many similarities. He fired, what's his name, Archibald Cox, the lead investigator. Trump fired his lead investigator, Comey.
I think suggesting that we're at a point that approximates Watergate, I think is a stretch.
You know what, Don, I really believe this is worse because the Russian interference, we have a foreign nation interfering with our election. You don't think that that's unbelievably sad for this country?
That's scary. And there is an investigation going. I mean, if he is found to have...
And we'll find out what the investigation proves,
Should he be
but we don't know
impeached?
the answer.
If it's true, should he be impeached?
If it's true, what is
If his administration colluded with the Russians to win this election,
I haven't
should
seen
he be
any
impeached?
evidence that they have colluded. Why would I want to if that?
Hypothetically, Secretary.
Why do you want to engage in hypotheticals?
Because it could become a reality.
This man was elected President of the United States. There is an investigation on the subject you've cited, which is perfectly appropriate.
Right.
Every administration has investigations.
And a special prosecutor.
Nothing has been concluded, but I have a sense you may be jumping to conclusions.
No, but
but it's a hypothesis.
No,
We
but
see
she's
that
not
all the
jumping
time.
to conclusions when she says it is a fact that the Russians interfered in the election. We know that for a fact.
Do we think other countries haven't had messed around in our country before? Lots of countries are interested in
So it's
making
okay then?
mischief in our
This is okay.
country.
Aside
No, it's
from
not okay.
This is supposedly
It's not okay.
these are enemies of the United States.
Yeah, but you're taking a leap from another country horsing around in our business and collusion.
But
and there is an
that's a big leap.
enormous difference.
But if there is collusion, isn't that an impeachable
Let's
offense?
come from another angle here.
Okay.
Guys. Okay, so
anything.
Gonna need that bell whoop. Okay, Trump was under fire for allegedly spilling highly classified information to the Russians while in the Oval Office. And given the terror attack in Manchester on Monday and recent news that the UK is or Manchester's cutting off sharing information with us because of some of these, the UK. They're cutting off sharing this information because of these leaks. Do you think this is going to continue to happen, that people are not going to be sharing information we need in regard to intelligence because of leaking of classified information?
I don't. I think that sharing intelligence is enormously important because every country has intelligence collection, and the countries that we cooperate with closely share with us, and we share with them, and that doesn't happen unless there's a high degree of confidence that it will be handled in an appropriate way. There are leaks that occur in every country, in every administration. There seem to be leaks taking place now out of the White House, which is unfortunate. And that is important that that be managed so that we do not lose the ability to cooperate with the intelligence sharing with other countries.
I want to talk, this weekend is Memorial Day, and I want to talk about some of the amazing stuff that you're doing for the military. In our audience, we have Ryan Mannion. Her brother Travis served under you in Iraq, and in 2007 was killed by sniper fire while saving his team. Amazing story. Your family set up the Travis Mannion Foundation after his death.
No, her family.
Her family. I apologize. Set up that. Now, how does that help with the military? Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Sure. So the foundation is there to bridge the gap between the 99% of those that don't serve and the 1% that do. And we use our veterans and families of the fallen to go out and inspire the next generation to not just serve their country, but be servant leaders right in their own backyards.
Wow, that's
well. And Secretary Rumsfeld, you recently donated $500,000 to the Ryan's Foundation. Why did you decide to partner with them?
Well, I was in Congress in the 1960s and was one of the ones who introduced legislation to create the all-volunteer military. Before that, we had a draft. When we had a draft, large numbers of people served, but a lot of them didn't want to serve. And now we have a volunteer force, and every one of these people in uniform, they all made a conscious decision to serve the country. That means there are a lot of people who aren't connected to the military. And God bless each of them for doing what they're doing. But the Travis Mannion Foundation sends out people, something like 100, 150 different people go out, and they talk to people in the community, schools and various like. They've touched, I don't know how many, about 30,000 people a year, I believe, is what they believe they reach out to, and talk with military people, military families, talking to people who don't have a direct relationship with the military. And we have the greatest armed forces in the world because of the all-volunteer force, in my view. And
it would be really nice if we could make sure that we remind that in Washington. It would be really nice if we could remind Washington, who tends to cut the budget of the military, and our vets, which drives me crazy. But, you know, it's always good to see you. Thank you for coming. But you'll be back. We'll be back. We'll all be back.
Up next, this Air Force hero who almost made the ultimate sacrifice has no idea he's about to be reunited with the crew that banded together to save each other's lives.
This Memorial Day weekend, do not forget that every American needs to hold that day sacred by honoring our fallen heroes and also remembering that every service member on the front lines risks their life for your freedom. Heroes like these.
In spring 2004, I was stationed at Baghdad International Airport. I was flying the MH-53.
On the night of April 12th, the most important mission that night was to fly to a location south of Baghdad to extract a Special Forces Sergeant Major who had been killed earlier that day. Bring him back so he could be sent home to his family.
When we took off for the mission that night, the threat level was very high. Fallujah was a hot spot at that time, so we knew we could run into some trouble.
I'm standing out the left window, and the next thing I know is I hear this big thud.
There was a flash of light, and everything went dark.
My night vision goggles had been thrown off my head, along with my helmet, and my eyesight was badly damaged.
The insurgents ambushed us with a rocket-propelled grenade, and it was a direct hit to our aircraft.
It sent my aircraft 90 degrees nose up. So essentially the nose was straight up and my tail was straight down.
I could look back and look out the tail of the aircraft and see the ground, and that's not a good thing.
As I started to come to, it was excruciating pain. There were things hitting me in the face. There was wind that... It's a closed cockpit. There's not supposed to be wind.
I heard some moaning in the front of the aircraft, and I looked forward to see what it was, and it was Mac, and I couldn't exactly tell what happened to him, but I could see that there was a gaping hole in the front of the aircraft.
I remember thinking, my God, I survived. and I still have to die. And so I cinched up my seatbelt, and I braced for hitting the ground.
Me and Captain Edwards were the only two that could speak to each other, and he's saying that we need to get this thing on the ground as soon as possible because I don't know how much longer it's going to fly.
And then all of a sudden, I just felt it. And it was like, I don't know who's flying this, but we're about to land. This feels right. And I just remember hitting the ground, and we were all in one piece.
The insurgents were about a mile away, which is not very far because they all had vehicles.
They were coming. The enemy was closing in, and we had to get the heck out of there.
When we found out our sister ship had landed about 100 yards away, we were very relieved. We knew we had an escape route now.
The next thing I heard was, hey, get him out. So I was grabbed and pulled by another guy.
And I remember Rob getting on board the helicopter beside me and he's telling me it's going to be all right. Telling me to stay awake. Telling me that he didn't want to lose me.
I told him to squeeze my hand just to make sure that he was okay. And he did. He squeezed my hand and let me know he was still alive and he was all right. The emotion is knowing that you could have not come home. You could have left your family alone, your friends.
The chances of us surviving that night were extremely slim.
And yet all 6 of us are still here today. They'll always have a special place in my heart because that's why I'm here.
We haven't gotten together since, I guess, that night.
I look forward to someday seeing those guys again.
Those 5 guys, what do you tell your heroes other than I love them and I could not be more proud of the work that they do every day.
Please welcome Major Thomas So, Major, what is it like retelling and reliving that story?
Simply, I really don't. So I approach every life just for that day, and I really don't talk about it ever unless I'm asked. It's really tough.
Now, after being deployed 6 times, you became a member of the Air Force Reserve and now teach pilots to become instructor pilots. But serving has been difficult for you and your family. Can you tell us about that?
Of course. It's not just you that serves. It's really your family that serves. And that goes for every single member. So it's very easy for us to deploy. But what we leave behind is people that are serving alongside us, even though we're geographically separated. It's an emotional bond.
And you were the pilot the night you and your crew went down, and say the men who sat beside you in that helicopter are your heroes.
Of course.
Why? Can you...
Yeah, they're my heroes because without those guys, without our teamwork, I wouldn't be here today.
Wow. Well, and I was so surprised to hear that due to your different deployments, you haven't seen that crew since that night, so many years ago. Really? But we thought it was time for you to see them. So please welcome retired Master Sergeant Christian Max McKenzie. Retired Senior Master Sergeant Robert Colanino. Sit down, have a seat. Two other crew members couldn't be here today because they are currently serving overseas, but they send their best wishes to all of you.
Yeah.
They send their best wishes.
How does it feel seeing these guys after 13 years?
It's kind of a chapter that's closing. It'll never be closed, but it feels great.
Yeah. Mac, am I getting it right?
Yes.
Mac,
Yes.
you suffered some terrible injuries, and say it was these guys who saved your life. How are you a changed man from that night?
I mean, it starts right from that day. I mean, you know, you make a decision every morning. You know, it says, hey, am I going to sit here and worry about it, or am I going to get up and do something? You know, and I get to get up, I get to hug my kids, I get to hug my wife, and I get to go out every day and do something that I may have never had the chance to do. And so it's been an inspiration every day.
And Randy, what does this brotherhood mean to you?
Oh, man, brotherhood, I mean, it goes deep for people that serve, that goes into the environment that we go into, knowing that you can look to your left, look to your right, and they got your back. I mean, there's nothing else like it. It's the closest thing to family you're ever going to have.
And Rob, you say that you and your fellow airmen never served for the accolades, and there's a motto you and the others live by. What is that?
Quiet professionals.
Quiet professionals.
Serve in silence.
Well, we are not done with you yet. We have a few more surprises when we come back.
So when you come to The View,
The fabulous Anne Hathaway, the fabulous and very funny Seth Meyers.
you come to have fun. I get to do this. You get to do that. Because anything goes at the Hot Topics table. We love you, Ted! And we mean anything.
Let's see, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 chains. He's changing his name.
You just can't miss The View on ABC.
Look at how we just reunited 4 Air Force crew members who almost died after their helicopter was shot down and haven't been together in over a decade. Right now, Major Lester is joined by his wife, Kathleen, and daughter, Dorothy. Now, I warned you, Major, this reunion is not the only surprise that we have for you today. We like to do that here at The View. So you all served under former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, and you have all said it would be an honor to meet him. So please welcome Secretary Donald Rumsfeld.
There you go. You bet.
This is the most special one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, he's given.
Yes,
sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
So, Secretary, what did you just hand them?
I just gave them, excuse me, the coin of it's called a challenge coin. Excuse me, and when people have done something extraordinary, they're sometimes given a coin. And, excuse me, and there's no question but these gentlemen have done something extraordinary.
Yes, no question, no question. Yes, you should come next to me. Now, Thomas, we have another surprise for you. And for this surprise, I think we need a little more help from your buddies from back home at the 39th Flying Training Squadron in San Antonio, Texas.
There you go.
And Secretary Rumsfeld, would you help me with this next surprise?
I'd be happy to.
Let me turn you around so people can see you just. There we go.
My goodness, look at all those folks. Screaming. I've been told that this is the appropriate time to promote.
Yes, sir.
Thomas Lester. He is being elevated to the rank of lieutenant colonel from major.
So I think we need your wife and we need Mac.
And I've been told that I'm authorized to do this,
Yes.
which is
yes.
a great privilege and honor.
So you should come here by the seal of the Department of the Air Force. Oh, yeah. Okay. And first you need to pin them. Can you see that?
Now, there
You
you
need
go.
to pin him.
The first thing to do is to take off the major insignia and put on the lieutenant colonel. And the next thing to do is to take the oath.
All right. We're running out of a little time, but let's do the
Would you
oath.
raise your right arm and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Thomas Lester,
Having been appointed a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely and without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
that I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
and that I will faithfully, you're going to say that again?
That
I'm a little
I will
overwhelmed.
faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties from which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You did it well.
So thanks again to Secretary Rumsfeld and all the men and women who serve our country. We'll be right back.
Hey, America, never forget somebody you know is a vet. We want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy the view and remember the folks who serve, because we don't. We'll see.